Melania, the Thief of Hearts for some, and the Thief of Activity and account progression for me. I spent over 3900 activity in the last 3 days to make this video possible. Not only did I need to level Melania, but I also had to bring her Psycube up to level 60 as well. And as if that wouldn't be enough already, Centurion also had to get up there. All of that just so we can finally answer, how good is Melania actually? First, we will compare Melania and Centurion both at I2 level 50, then I3 level 1, because those breakpoints will be the most applicable scenarios for most players as of right now, and not everybody is going to destroy their account as much as I did. Nonetheless, we then will do comparison runs at I3 level 40 for Melania, Centurion and Lilya. And because that isn't enough as well, we will also do some simulated runs to get more input on the accuracy of the data. Before we start, as always, the necessary disclaimer. These tests were conducted in a controlled solo environment. Adding team members will shift these in one direction or another, and future characters may change these numbers as well. Regarding the simulated runs, they are simulated after all, may not reflect the actual numbers. Let's talk about the rules. First of all, since Melania is a strongly single target focused DPS, we will conduct these tests as such and focus on single target damage only. All tests were done in 421 hard mode, as everything else dies too fast. Damage from mass attacks is only counted against the Lord of Dreams, and hits against his hands or orb are ignored, because again, we only care about single target damage in this test. For tuning, I have used First Melody. For Centurion specifically, her ultimate went unused as it would be a DPS loss. Not using her ultimate also takes up a hand slot, which will leave her with a lower DPS than if given enough AP in a team. Keep that in mind. Melania will be tested with Luxurious Leisure at I3 level 60 A0. Centurion and Lilya will both be tested with Thunderous Applause, also at I3 level 60 A0. Last but not least, all characters were tested with Resonance level 9. Please note that Lilya's damage will be slightly inflated as she is Resonance 10, and even though I only used a 6x6 grid, her Tetris pieces are of a higher level and hence grant her additional stats. These were the Resonance layouts used. Editing riff here. I was told showing you this graphic and telling you to subscribe and like the video will actually work. So yeah, thanks. For I2 level 50, Melania came to a conclusive 4830 damage per round, whereas Centurion did around 4280 damage. So surprisingly, this did not turn out as I expected, so I went back to Google Sheets and created a new sheet to simulate some runs, and I realized this really annoyed me, so I did not do that. Instead, I prototyped a website which does this stuff for me, and that way more reliably and faster. And before anybody asks, yes, you can use this website too. You can find it over at re99simruns.com, link is in the description. Please note, it is currently very bare bones, the accuracy seems to lie somewhere in between ±10%, and Lilya's calculation seems off. Also, there are many QoL features missing which I would like to add and or change in the future as well. Anyway, I entered the data for them and those were the results. While not too far off, I want you to take these data with a grain of salt. However, for I2 level 50 Melania seems to be ahead of Centurion, but again, and this is important, Centurion does not have her best Psycube equipped and is generating less high-level cards due to her ultimate blocking a slot. Using her in a team and with his Bound and Duty instead should bring these two units relatively up close, if not even bring Centurion ahead of it. Going forward and ascending Melania and Centurion to I3 level 1, I continue testing. Melania dealt overall around 374,000 damage, which results in about 5,440 damage dealt per round. For Centurion, she came to a conclusive 4,760 damage dealt per round, bringing Melania further ahead, which makes sense as I3 gave Melania a strong power boost, whereas Centurion got self-sustain instead. And entering these data into my simrun calculator, we get a similar result, which is great. Fast forward a day and Melania and Centurion hit I3 level 40. At this point, I'm running out of resources, so this is the best I can do. Please note that Lilya is level 60 and Resonance 10, which will give her an inherent advantage. Lilya dealt around 7,400 damage per round, and as we know from my previous video, if we reduce that by around 20% to bring her up to par with Resonance level 9, we come to a guesstimated 5,900 damage per turn. With Melania being at about 5,550 damage per turn and Centurion laying at 4,523 damage per turn, we can come to the conclusion that it really doesn't matter which character you pick, They all will perform similar enough so you can pick whoever you prefer, or build all of them, like I did. But I would highly recommend you not doing that. Future editing review again. While editing I noticed I wasn't very clear. Senti is so far behind because she isn't as single target focused as the other characters. Her not using ult in a solo environment often prevents her from gaining higher star incantations, and on top of that I also got quite unlucky in a lot of runs, as the sim now shows. Just wanted to throw that in here. Last but not least, looking at the simulated runs, Lilya comes very close to our guesstimated 5900 damage per turn. Melania comes off at around 5700 and Centurion being slightly behind with 5100 damage. Again, I do want to mention here that while Centurion can serve with single target DPS, her kit is split to serve more of a multi-purpose role, which makes her a better pick in AoE situations where you might not want to play Lilya or Melania. To sum it all up, while Lilya currently still beats Melania just by a little bit, one thing which cannot be evaluated is the utility a character brings to the team. And Melania brings a fair share of Moxie control, while still dishing out a fair amount of DPS. So, is Melania worth it? Well, yeah, she is. And she will only be stronger when placed in the right team. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.